Welcome to Wednesday Evening Encore. Welcome to Wednesday Evening Encore. I'm your host, Christopher D. Thomas. Welcome to Wednesday Evening Encore. Welcome, everyone. We have a lot we're going to dissect. We have a lot that we're going to dissect. I hope everyone are doing well. And welcome to Wednesday Evening Encore. We have a lot that we're going to dissect. We're going to dissect some subtle nuances, and we have a lot to talk about. So, we don't stay on here too very long, and we have a lot to dissect. The ego trap. That's what we're going to be talking about. The ego trap. Hello, visionaries. Welcome to Wednesday Evening Encore, where we're going to dissect some subtle nuances that define success. Yeah, I'm Christopher D. Thomas, and today we're delving into a very provocative question. The ego trap. Is your personal brand sabotaging your future? So is your personal brand sabotaging your future? So, has your personal brand become a gilded cage? Is the persona that you've crafted with such care actually limiting your growth? Today, we're not just analyzing your brand, we're breaking free from self-imposed limits. So ready to look in the mirror and see beyond the reflection. And I have a story that I want to tell of a client that we consulted with on her brand. And her name is Sophia. And Sophia is a very dynamic entrepreneur and who is in the at that time, and she still is in the fashion industry, but at that time, uh, who was very cutting edge fashion startup, and that captivated her into the spotlight. And she's been in business for many years now, but we're talking about during the time when we consulted with Sophia. So Sophia's personal brand was very strong. She was innovative. She was a fearless leader. And it was a brand that opened doors and built an extreme empire. But as the fashion industry evolved, her brand didn't. So Sophia got to this point to where she was feeling trapped. She was feeling trapped because her industry evolved, but her brand didn't. She hesitated to show any type of vulnerability, along with adaptability, and began to fear that it was that would have diluted her brand's perceived strength. So this rigidity, got tongue tied for a moment, started to alienate her collaborators and to stifle her company's growth. So this was showing how, even though her personal brand was powerful, it came to a pitfall, and it wasn't, in retrospect, wasn't flexible, enough. So here's the problem that many entrepreneurs can have, in the ego trap. Many entrepreneurs construct a personal brand that's based on uh, what initially brought success, and they stick with that. However, this brand can become rigid, preventing personal and professional growth. I want you to imagine something. Imagine being trapped by your own success, where your personal brand stops you from exploring new opportunities, uh, stops you from being authentic, because it doesn't fit into the persona that you've marketed. And, how do you solve that? Well, we got to break free some kind of way. We got to break free from the ego trap, because it involves evolving your personal brand with honesty and humility. And you'll be surprised about how many people are afraid to show their authentic self because of what they've presented themselves to be on social media. You know, it's about aligning your public persona with your personal growth, and the changing dynamics of the industry, you know. And a lot of people, we could think back very recently, something that all of us experience. Well, most of us, experience during COVID, when things shut down, businesses were closing. There are things happening currently right now, from a standpoint as a result of different actions of administration and tariffs and et cetera, and that's shaking up the industry and shaking things up. Uh, and some people are afraid to say that they're having to pivot and change and shift up as well. As if their brand, they're so smart and it's about them. They don't want anyone to see that uh, them being humbled, being authentic. Showing that, hey, it's tough times. I'm having to adapt and shift myself. They want to portray as if they have it all worked out. So uh, those are some of the things to that are happening, with our brands when it comes to an ego standpoint. Now, we always give, a few actionable strategies that you can take, and we have some actionable strategies for you right now about how to uh, evolve your personal brand without losing your core identity. So here are, I think I have five. Yep, I've laid out five strategies, prepare five strategies that you can take. One is continuous self reflection. Continuous self reflection. Regularly assess your brand. Regularly assess if your brand still represents, who you are, where you're going. You know, are you growing, or are you staying stagnant? Seek feedback. Engage with trusted peers, mentors. Work with consultants to get honest feedback on how others perceive your brand. Is there a disconnect between your intention and perception? Showcase growth. Number three, showcase your growth. Publicly embrace and learn. Publicly embrace learning and change. Share your journey. Include the challenges. This makes your brand more relatable and resilient. Number four, diversify your narrative. Introduce new stories and facets of your personality. Show versatility, in your professional engagement to broaden your appeal and also your brand, bringing relevance to it. Um, just to put out something that I actually personally took some of my own advice. We get so stuck, and it's easy to get this way, and we get stuck seeing things from our own perspective, and we're only simply there are many times when uh, our we look for likes and we on social media, or we start reading into things, and it's not really what folks are actually looking for, and so we can get tied up into our own space in our own world and looking at things through one lens. And there are times, believe me, the things that I am talking to you about, on every Wednesday, um, are things that I need to be reminded of as well. So I'm reminding myself, also as I go through and dig and research, research every week as far as next topics, to ensure that I'm delivering to you, information that is true, that it works. Go back in history about how I've applied certain things, and then where I also need to um, shift and pivot and adjust myself. And so, one of the things I actually did a couple weeks ago, some of you know that I recently had an eye exam, and I was prescribed bifocals. And that was a tough experience, for me. It was a tough experience. My mindset as far as, you know, adapting to maturing and aging, as well. That was a tough experience. In my mind, I'm still, what, 21. I'm around about my son's age, so, but in reality, it's something else. I'm at a different age. So, unfortunately, when we age, there are things that happen to our physical. And so, what I did was I recorded my own experience, as far as how I was feeling, and decided to put that out on social media. And so, being authentic and also diversifying your narrative. I mean, I know you all know me as the brand maker, um, putting out information to help you take your brands, market your businesses to next level, be able to scale, pivot, um, motivate it, as well. However, it's okay, to talk about something personal, as far as help to diversify, the narrative a little bit, to switch things up, as well. So I'm taking my own advice, right? Recommendations, as well. So it's okay to introduce, new stories, um, facets of your personality, show versatility, in your professional engagements to broaden the appeal and relevance, of your brand. So, number 5, align actions and updated brand values. Ensure your actions consistently reflect any shifts, in your branding. You know, Authenticity in this alignment attracts loyalty and also respect. Now, I'm going to repeat all 5 of those actionable strategies. 1, continuous self reflection. 2, seek feedback. 3, showcase growth. 4, diversify your narrative. And number 5, align actions with updated brand values. So, I've given you all of these actionable strategies in order for you to be able to inject into your brands, so that you can show growth, uh, be authentic, and be able to continue for your clients, your fans, people who follow you, people that you are looking to attract, into your community. Why do all of these work? These strategies, uh, pre, uh, these strategies will prevent your personal brand from becoming static personas that will no longer serve you. They're going to ensure that your brand is a true reflection of your evolving ambition and your values. So, as you ponder, over these strategies, consider when was the last time that you felt restricted, by your own brand. You know, it's a common pitfall. It's a common pitfall, um, but not an inevitable one. So, if you're ready to redefine your personal brand or need guidance on where to start, feel free to DM me, message me. We at NMM Group offer personalized consultations that are designed to help you navigate this transformation. Now, to continue with Sophia's story, remember I shared with you that Sophia, powerhouse fashion industry, got tied up in her own brand. When things needed to shift, she felt like she couldn't be authentic, that she couldn't be true, that she had to always show that she's winning, right? So once Sophia embraced the flexibility in her personal brand, she found new avenues for growth and collaboration. I'm gonna repeat that. Once Sophia embraced the flexibility, being agile in her personal brand, she found new avenues for growth and collaboration. Her brand matured, and so did her business, proving that the only constant in both life and branding should be change. I'm gonna repeat that. The only constant in both life and branding should be change. So think about your own personal brand. What aspects of your current persona might be holding you back? Identify one area for growth. Take that step today towards a more adaptable and authentic brand. And for more insights and personalized advice, feel free to visit our website. You contact us directly at NMM Group. You can message me, DM me on YouTube. You all can send messages there. Let's ensure that your brand is helping and not hindering your future. We have a excellent episode, next Wednesday. Um, don't miss our next episode. It's the fear factor. Turn anxiety into your secret